Perfect.
Okay.
Hey everybody, it is Kevin and Dr. Sue. And so with Dr. Sue, bring her on. We're so excited to have you guys here. She wrote a book that we're going to talk all about. She has an extraordinary background. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to click our reel, and then we're going to get started. Sue, it's been just such a pleasure behind the scenes. Sue and I were talking like friends that have been together for 20 plus years, and so it's so nice to meet so many wonderful people in the pharmacy community.
Thank you.
But Sue's unique, everybody. She's doing some really cool things, and she connected so many dots in her background that I wanted to tell you guys about that kind of story of how she pulled everything together, from the incredible influencer she is to her pharmacogenomic knowledge to getting with other influencers out there to now writing a book. So I'm going to pass it over to you, Sue. Tell us the story. Tell us the tale of how this all came together.
Thank you, Kevin. I really appreciate you having me on. It's been, I've seen RPH Ally for, building and growing, and I definitely love what you guys are creating. So I definitely had to come on, and I'm honored to be here to speak with you. So it means a lot that I get to, explain to you what's going on in the pharmacy world.
Means a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So like we were just saying, I started off as a retail pharmacist. I've been practicing for about 14 years in retail pharmacy. And like I was telling you, I loved it. I loved the connections and the bonds that I was building with my patients and my community. So I definitely love that aspect. And I wanted to create something else and grow from there. And being recognized by Single Care last year for their most influential pharmacist or pharmacy influencer, that definitely was an amazing, something really, really I'm proud of, just being recognized, even alone, just the honor, just being, being appreciated by my customers. It means so much to me. So
that's the piece right there, Sue, that I think is so cool that I didn't realize is that you have the background of retail pharmacy, caring for your customers, building those relationships, and then they're the ones that are pushing you forward as being a major influencer in the pharmacy space. Like what an awesome honor. And all pharmacists, are always hoping to get that kind of praise and make that kind of impact. So that's so cool.
I found my inspiration from them, and I feel like I'm doing it for all these reasons. And I honestly get my inspiration from my customers and people I meet in my journey. So it's been definitely an amazing journey so far. And I'm so excited to show you guys what I've created. And I showed you a little bit of a sneak peek, but I have my platform, Pharmacy, and my consultant business that I've told you about, where I work with practitioners and doing PGX testing.
Yep.
Concierge services, what I work with individual patients as well. But my newest project, Pharma Heroes, I'm so super excited about this, mostly because I honestly just had an idea. It was probably around Christmas or so when I first came up with the idea. And a friend of mine actually wrote a children's book as well, and she's also a pharmacist. So I had in the back of my head, but you know how you always have ideas, and you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, maybe I should do something with that, or maybe I'll think about it later. So I said, why not actually do something and really actually create a children's book. So
in the stage, Sue, it's really, you've got a brilliant pharmacist that's really wonderful with patients and kind of the entire community, that has pharmacogenomic knowledge, that's invested time, money, and resources into becoming better at it, and is a wonderful mom of 5 and has been used to doing all these books. So, just the fact that those two things were able to merge together and create this, you've got to tell the story of how you were setting up the Christmas kind of connection. Because I just
So it was Christmas time, and the kids are making their Christmas lists and, going through all their wants, and, I'm just looking at them and just saying, like, I want to give them something that's going to be lasting. I'll leave an impression, or see from the moment of inception when I created this idea and where it's going to lead to an actual completed project and present for them. So I said to them, guys, I have a gift that I'm gifting to you on Christmas, and I'm going to write a children's book with you. And I want us to create this together. From that moment, we just put all our energy and all our time into creating this. And we just made it happen, and it's going to go live. It's on pre-sale right now with Amazon, and it's going to be able to be purchased after March 20th. So they've followed me along this entire process, and they're my little editors, or just I ask them for inspiration, because it's a children's book that's meant to be understood by both children and adults on a complex topic, PGX. So they had to understand the story, and if they could understand the story, then why not just put it into an easy format, or an easily readable for anyone to understand, right?
So that's so cool, because I feel like merging those two worlds, like being a dad of two boys, and you might be able to see the little guy playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the background here soon. So enjoy that, everybody. Being a dad, like when I think of my workplace and like how to educate my kids on the things that I do and maybe the knowledge base that I have, sometimes it's difficult, Sue, just to be able to, help young children appreciate the medical world in general, right? Because it's easy to do Old MacDonald had a farm and then be able to connect some of those dots with here's what the farmer is potentially doing. I have a farming background, so I'm not belittling that. There's a ton of, intelligence, et cetera, that goes into it. But just connecting the dots with the medical world is tough. And what you've done here with making it exciting and fun and approachable for kids to be able to look at those things, I'm thankful as a dad that now I'll get to be able to show my kids, something from this world. And then also be able to talk about a subject that pharmacogenomics, like you and I were talking about. What is that word?
Say the word, right? Yeah. I mean, I had to like personally learn how to say the word just a couple of years ago, not even like being so familiar with it when I was in pharmacy school. So I heard about it. I think it's an amazing idea. Like, why not utilize this because of the benefits that it has for our patients, and knowing certain information ahead of time to avoid drug genome interactions, or just give you a pathway and understanding how to prescribe for our patients properly, and make it relatable so the future generation is able to use this information and apply it to the way they learn. So having those concepts and wanting to create something, I mean, it was an idea that just started as maybe a thought. And honestly, I'm super excited of the way it turned out. So I'm just so excited about it. So
that's so fun. If you wouldn't mind, Sue, I mean, I think the one thing that I'd love to be able to see is I'm going to change view. So it's just you. Don't get nervous that I'm going away anywhere, but just you, so we can see a little bit better view of like your outside cover and maybe even the backside of the book to get a good idea of some of the illustrations are beautifully done. I think the fact that you did it in rhyme is absolutely fantastic. It's very engaging. So please show it off for me.
So the cover, this is my biggest inspiration here, the 5 kids. So I have 1 daughter and 4 boys. So they're the main characters of the story. And the pharma heroes are basically the heroes who are going to be finding out the cure, or working to get to the bottom of what PGX is. So, and the best part, I was telling you, I've outsourced, I got help from, on the internet from Fiverr. And it's funny, when you look out there, you could find, like, I was not familiar with like, editing or putting a book together in the beginning. But when you're passionate about setting a goal to do something, you'll make it happen. You'll find the right videos, you'll find the right YouTube videos to look, and you'll just keep on going and start digging deeper until you get it right. So it starts off, it's 32 pages, so it's a typical children's bedtime book, and it's built in a setting where it's familiar with what we're mostly used to growing up with, like a fairy tale land setting, bright colorful illustrations, and most of the pages have words. They're in rhyming. So the farmer heroes, brave and bold, set out on a quest to cure the young and old. So this is where they're traveling out, looking for the answer, because there was an ailment in Medville land. So they're trying to find the answers. They're going to meet a wise person who's going to tell them or give them more information as to how they could get to the bottom of the problem. He spoke of genes and medicine with ease, combining science and expertise. And this is him explaining PGX. What is that exactly? No more guessing, no more tries. The perfect medicine is just a look inside. And as we know, like, our genetics is so important, and in determining how we break medications down, just like how we all are different. We have different eye colors, we have different hair colors, curly, short, curly, straight hair. So that's all incorporated into the pretense of the book. And
So
there's
you guys,
some, sorry,
you
go
guys,
ahead.
like I'm just looking at it and just loving it. And I'm
Thank you.
well, and the next thing that it really is
Uh-huh.
really a curiosity for me, like
Mhm.
after making the step, like this is a big step from going
Uh-huh.
no books, no children's books experience to now being
Uh-huh.
public and selling something. Well, what's going to be next, Sue? Like, what are you going to do next with this passion? Because I
Mhm.
know your and I's conversation on the other
Mhm.
side, you
Mhm.
love pharmacogenomics, you love pharmacy, but when
Uh-huh.
your eyes really lit up is when we started talking about this book. And
I
so,
know. And it's funny because I catch myself doing that too. I mean, I love what I'm doing in the pharmacy space, but creating something and seeing it become actually live from start to now where it is, I just I mean, I don't know what the next steps are. I'm just excited and building it out and taking the platform and creating. I was, working on a series right now where I'm taking the Pharma Heroes, and I was hoping to create additional medical topics that are easily explainable. Like, I mean, I'm still working on it, but maybe cardiology or taking it. I love the pharmacy incorporation, so I definitely want to keep that there in a series, probably. Maybe why not make it into an animated series or something like
there
that,
you
right?
go. I
Create a
love
little cartoon.
Well, I
So
mean,
it does have
when I'm
potential to get to be somewhere, but you have to have that motivation and drive. Like we're saying, if you see an idea and you think it'll happen, if you believe hard enough and if you have the right support and you have the determination, you could definitely create it for sure.
that's so fun. I mean, just thinking about things that the boys are watching, with
Mhm.
all the animated doctor shows or animated scientist shows, like it's
Mhm.
so neat to think of someone being a medication expert, and
Right?
having influence on kids that's an
Mhm.
important skill set to have and
Mhm.
knowledge to have in the
Mhm.
background. That's fun. And the safety aspects, I think
Definitely.
for all of us parents,
Mhm.
there's so many times that hospitalizations or other locations where children
Mhm.
are getting into medications and not recognizing the real problem that they are not candy or they are not something to be taken lightly, is something that I feel like we can educate our kids on in a very
Oh, yeah,
friendly,
sure.
approachable way through what you're trying to create here.
Sure. I mean, I personally never seen anything like pharmacy related or explain the topics. I know there's a couple of other, what is a pharmacist or giving the basic explanation of as the profession itself, but going deep down and having a pharmacist explain all of these in our perspective, just, I mean, definitely I'm excited about that part, what I could create in that end.
Oh, us too. I mean, I think that, when Sean and I talk about like RPH ally things and we really try to connect dots on like what the
Mhm.
future of pharmacy looks like. I
Mhm.
mean, being able to use these different media platforms. I mean, Sue is doing, I mean, she's exceedingly humble, but she's doing very well in the Instagram space. She has a massive following there and does very well. So let's say this, Sue, let's
Mhm.
say we have young pharmacists watching or
Mhm.
any pharmacist of any stage of kind of life and
Mhm.
they're very inspired by, wow, Sue has really taken her career and done some fun things with it. Any advice for them on one? I think we can break it into two questions. Any
Mhm.
advice on, building a social audience and finding
Mhm.
kind of more space in your voice? And then the second, piece when it comes to, taking on these new challenges, these new business challenges,
Mhm.
any advice there?
I would definitely say believe in yourself. Do it. If you have an idea and you support yourself, you could get to that point. You could make the possibilities endless because was myself in that same position and I was not always like this. I didn't have, X amount of Instagram followers, and not that that makes a difference or, that's the way you should rate yourself, but if you believe in yourself, the possibilities are endless. It's invest in yourself because you're your greatest support system, or you could also be the negative person too and not take it or just grow from that. So believe in yourself and just go for it. If you have an idea, it could be amazing. Just believe, and it will definitely be successful. If you and failure, that's another thing too. I was actually speaking with another colleague of mine, Jamie. um, Sometimes you have to fail at certain things in life in order to realize that you could create something even so much more wonderful or amazing. So if you have hurdles along the way, don't give up. Just use that at what you learned and just grow from there and pivot, go into another direction, and you could always, create something that's even completely out of the realm or the norm.
I love that. And I mean, I think that Jamie Wilkie is
Oh yeah,
fantastic.
she's
Kind of
amazing.
that kind of content creation. I think she's
Uh-huh.
a real blessing to a lot of folks in pharmacy when it comes to just reimagining what's kind of possible there and
Mhm.
getting people to think a little bit differently and use their given skill sets to do so. And
Mhm.
I'm so glad you guys connected. And I know that, previous you were connected with, getting more information and
Mhm.
background from Sue Paul. And there's so many wonderful people out there, Sue, like you and I were talking about.
Yeah.
You reach out to individuals and you need
Oh
help.
yes, for sure.
Bandwidth is one thing, right? We only have so much time in the day, and we've got to understand that.
I
But
know.
there's a wonderful community, and I mean that's the whole point.
Mhm.
That's why with our PH Ally, we're trying to create even more of a
Mhm.
community, to be able to bring some of these folks together, and just be able to make those connections. So it's so special to be able to have you on today. Your book
Thank
is
you.
fantastic. I hope it is a wildly
Thank
successful
you.
book. Once
Thank
again,
you.
tell
Thank you
me
so much.
one more time, Sue, where
Mhm.
can we find your book and any more information behind, the other things that you're doing?
Sure. So the pre-order is now available on Amazon. It's going to be live for sale on March 20th for the hard copy and paperback version. So it's on pre-order right now. So definitely try to check that out. And my website, pharmacy.com, has all the things that I'm working on, what I'm doing. So, and if you have any questions, anyone, just reach out to me. I'm honestly here to help. Just if you have any questions, I could be able to direct you or give you advice or any suggestions. It would mean a lot to me.
That's so awesome, Sue. Yeah, you're so genuine and such a wonderful person. I'm just
Thank
thankful
you.
for you to be part of our community. Really looking forward to the success of your book. And if there's anything else we can do to help, we will always be there to help you and support you. So just let us know. If you guys are interested in learning more and hearing more about these kinds of things, you can join us at rphally.com. Free to join. Lots of wonderful topics we're covering. And I think we'll have more space for children's books here sometime soon.
For sure. Thanks for
All
having me,
right.
Kevin. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much. Talk to you guys soon. Bye bye.